While playing games in the Source engine, have you ever felt something is off or had an uneasy feeling of maybe being watched while playing these single player experiences? If you have, you definitely wouldn't be the first. Playing games like Portal 2, Half-Life, Gmod, all those games, you do get the feeling that something is off. An unsettling feeling that you really can't shake whatsoever. Today we will take a look at this exact thing and try to uncover why this happens to be. I'm your host, Lightning, and let's get right into it. Up first is Gmod. Now, when you think of Gmod, you probably think of those goofy animations back in the days, or having a fun time with your friends, playing around with all these maps and all. But the thing about Gmod is these open, large maps, they give you an eerie feeling that something is wrong. I mean, just boot up any RP map, construct, big city, and just play around for a bit and you'll suddenly get the feeling that something is definitely off. The empty streets and the empty places where players usually were are just really creepy at best. The ambience combined with the LEGO players are a really good cocktail for making this eerie feeling set in. And of course it doesn't help that some of these map creators have actually incorporated some horror elements or at least some spooky elements into them, just to make you feel even more unsettled. Now, while Gmod also has horror maps that amplify this feeling even more, Half-Life doesn't. Now, the thing about Half-Life is that they nailed the environment and the ambience completely with these games. Whether you're playing the VR version or the normal PC version, you will get the feeling that this isn't right whatsoever. This is probably also why the Half-Life ARGs are getting such popular nowadays. The fact that you can move from a completely populated area where there's bustling with life to a complete desolate area with no life whatsoever, only the creepy ambience and the feeling of being so alone, amplified by the fact that you know what the Combine has done. You know what has happened, and yet the feeling still catches you off guard even though you know what is going on. And all this is really put on display in the VR version, Half-Life Alyx, because there you feel vulnerable, you feel alone. They nailed the setting perfectly with this regard. The unintentional horror in Gmod and Half-Life respectively is really nailed perfectly. However, the game that encapsulates all this the most is probably the Portal series, with the feeling of being watched and the feeling of being alone in an abandoned civilization.
What's going on? Who turned off the lights?
Now, with Portal being set in the same universe as Half-Life, it really takes the unsettling nature of Half-Life and turns it up way higher. Being that you're the only person left in the whole of Aperture Science, you really feel the loneliness walking around the abandoned facilities of Aperture Science while being guided by a robot friend and finding all kinds of artifacts from when humans actually were there, while also being watched, is a really unsettling setting to be in. The feeling does subside when you're guided by a Wheatley or you're guided by a GLaDOS, due to the fact that you're testing all the time. You probably won't even see all these details hidden in the game. However, if you do really look for it, you'll definitely notice it right away. Now, is there a reason that all this is actually happening? This unsettling feeling and this uncanny feeling of playing these games? Well, yes. As Reddit user MirrorMe so graciously pointed out, it's known as kenopsia. It's the feeling of uneasiness when roaming around a place, usually bustling with people, but now is empty. This is also why horror games are so effective at their work, due to the fact that they are mostly placed in big open, empty, abandoned areas. It really plays on this feeling of uneasiness. Even if you take away all the enemies, just walking through it with the ambience being placed and the feeling of emptiness, you get this feeling automatically, no matter if it's a horror game or if it's just a normal game. And while a lot of games can replicate this, Source games do it unintentionally and still nail it every single time. Now, while I didn't go fully in depth with all these games, I just wanted to outline quickly what makes these games stand out as uncanny and honestly a bit scary sometimes. If you guys have any experiences with these Source games, please do comment down below and share your experience. I would like to see if anyone else has these thoughts as well, and just to see if there's some common ground in all of this. If any of you guys wanted more in-depth explanation on these games, please do comment down below. As always, this has been Lightning, and I'll see you next time.